there's a lot of angst about the officials missing a lot of 4-point play calls or 3-point foul shots for the Houston Rockets for game one of the Western Conference semifinals, Golden State Warriors against the Houston Rockets. I'm going to tell you this right now. The referees did miss calls, and referees will continue to miss calls and things of that nature. However, there's something also that's being missed in this piece. And I'm just going to say a few facts. Game one, the Houston Rockets shot more free throws than the Golden State Warriors. They shot about, and it wasn't that much more. It's like 20. It was Houston Rockets went 24-29 from the field from the free throw line. Golden State Warriors went 21 for 27. James Harden, the main person that was complaining about the calls, he shot 14 free throws. He went 13 to 14. So essentially, the complaint is, and this is what I'm trying to decipher, because I understand that they blew some calls on potential 4-point plays or three. It's supposed to be like 12 extra free throws. What you're trying to say is you want the NBA to allow you to shoot 30 free throws a game, because he already shot 14 free throws in a game, and they missed about nine potential points for him. So he wants to shoot 23 free throws in a game by himself all alone. Is that the game plan to beat the Golden State Warriors? To shoot 23 free throws? 30 free throws? Come on, man. Come on. It was even a play where James Harden grabbed Kevin Looney's arm and went up for a layup, and then they called a foul on Kevin Looney, and Kevin didn't even grab his arm. At the end of the day, the reason why the Houston Rockets didn't get all of those calls, a partial part of it was referee error, human error. But in addition to that, the second half of it is the Houston Rockets game plan is basically to get people in foul trouble and kick out their legs. The Houston Rockets, all their players, including Chris Paul, including James Harden, they're jumping 3 feet from where they're trying to land 3 feet from where they jumped. They're jumping into the defender. So the same way there's a Reggie Miller rule, essentially the NBA is going to have to institute James Harden or CP3, whatever Houston Rockets rule. They're saying that, and I understand the defender needs space to land because what happened with Kawhi Leonard. But we all have to remember, when Kawhi Leonard shot, he didn't jump into Zaza. He jumped straight up and down. I think it's kind of fading away or whatever, but he jumped and Jaja undercut him. James Harden and CP3, if you're watching the plays, even the last final play where he got hit, he's jumping forward into the defender. So the NBA is either going to have to do this. Call a rule and say this is the Houston Rockets rule. You cannot jump into the defender, or you cannot jump 3 feet into the defender. You could jump like maybe a foot, because sometimes your momentum carries you. If you watch that play where James Harden got fouled, he kicks his legs forward, like he's pushing his whole leg forward. In basketball, they have the sweep and sway when you shoot a jump shot. Everybody knows that. You shoot a jumper, your legs kind of sway forward. The Houston Rockets players are all catapulting their legs forward. They're not even trying to land. And there were a lot of plays where Kevin Looney was guarding James Harden, where Kevin Looney went to the side, and you saw James Harden would miss those threes, all due to the simple fact that he's not getting that foul. He's not trying to attempt to get a foul, and that's Houston's game plan: shoot threes, but attempt to get fouled in the process. You can't reward a team for trying to do something that they don't have a rule for, because we all know the Reggie Miller rule where he used to kick out his legs or whatever. That's exactly what the Houston Rockets are doing. Even with the play with Chris Paul, and he got fouled by Livingston, Chris Paul kicked out his whole hip towards Livingston to shoot a jump shot. You can't do that. If the person is undercutting you and you're kind of staying in the same spot, I would even give you about a foot. I could say you jump maybe at 1 foot forward. You can't jump 3 feet forward and expect the referees to call it every single time. You're in the defender space. Now, what is the NBA trying to say? Do the defenders not have any recourse? Do they not have a certain area box or whatever the case is? What if a guy gets kicked in the groin? or the guy gets a foot to the face or something, is he supposed to just stay there and not move, or no more contesting of shots, no more defense in the NBA? It's getting out of hand. It's really, 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 really ridiculous now. Because you're watching a game and this man goes to the podium. You would have thought he shot 6 free throws tonight. You would have thought he shot 7 free throws, 4 free throws. He shot 14 free throws. He wanted to shoot 26 free throws tonight. I guess the game would have, instead of taking a 3-hour game or 3 hours to watch the whole game, it would have took us 7, 8 hours. It would have been like a baseball game. You can't do that. You can't expect that. I understand Mike D'Antoni's frustration. I understand Chris Paul's frustration. But at the end of it all, the free throws really didn't necessarily kill the game or kill your game. That's not what cost you the game. I'm going to tell you what cost the Rockets the game. They shot 41% from the field. The Golden State Warriors shot 50% from the field. Rockets shot 29% from 3. The Warriors weren't even no better, 31%. But the thing is, and the Rockets made more 3-pointers. But they just shot such a horrible percentage. 14 for 47. Warriors was 7 for 22. At the end of the day, Rockets shot more free throws than them. They made more free throws than them. They just played all around. They didn't play their best game. James Harden had 30. I think James Harden had 35. Eric Gordon had 27. But then when you look at their starters, Clint Capella, minus 17, 4 points. PJ Tucker didn't score. He was a plus minus of 9, though. But you look at CP3. CP3 didn't have the greatest of games. Even though he shot efficiently, it was 17 points. He was minus 7 in plus minus. You look at James Harden. He went 9 for 28 from the field, 4 for 16 from 3. He shot 25% from 3. Part of it, yeah, he was getting fouled, but part of it is he just wasn't making shots because he was predicating his jump shot on getting fouled. I understand James Harden wants a fair shot and he wants to get officiated properly, but to me, you can't try to manipulate the rules and say you want to get a fair shot. There's a lot of times he gets fouled, he's manipulating the rules. And then on top of that, now he wants to ask for a fair shot. Either you're going to manipulate the rules and let things fall the way they fall, or don't manipulate the rules and get a true fair shot. You cannot kick your foot forward, both of your feet forward like that. Chris Paul did it with his hip. Now, I know the letter of the law says that's a foul. I understand that. But also, you got to understand, if somebody is baiting somebody into doing something, there's also some recourse for that. I'll give you a clear example. Think about people who do insurance schemes and who get rear-ended. Sometimes they do what is called, there's a specific term where a person pulls up on the side of you and the person in the front of you slams on the brakes all of a sudden. Now, you're at fault for that accident. By the letter of the law, you're at fault. But when they investigate some stuff like that, they see that that's fraudulent. And people who do that actually end up going to prison. It's funny, there was like a Law and Order episode about how people are trying to do, this is a long time ago, people were trying to do false hit and run claims. And and one of the guys, he was an illegal immigrant. He actually died in the process, and he left his wife and children. And then they had to break down, and you know how Law and Order does it. They break down from start to finish what happened. Come to find out, it was an illegal scheme of guys acting like they got in car accidents, and you know one guy would brake in front of the driver, and the other guy would stay to the side of him so he can't swerve out. So either way, you're at fault. And that's essentially what the Houston Rockets are doing. They're trying to essentially do a bait and switch. They're trying to act like they're shooting a regular shot, but then they're kicking their legs out. And you know, I'm a strong proponent for fairness and guys getting, you know, just due. But to me, you can't have it both ways. You can't say they didn't officiate the game properly for you, but you shot 14 free throws. Same thing with Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant came out and said a lot of calls I wasn't getting, Kevin Durant shot 15 free throws. There's no way for me to be like, Kevin wasn't going to the line. You're getting to the line. What do you want, 30 free throws? Is that what basketball has come down to now? It's not about getting an easy shot or easier shots. It's about getting free throws. And I understand that's how the Rockets play, but they have to understand some of the things you just can't get away with it anymore. The league has kind of caught up with the Rockets and stuff. And I think because Golden State has like a little bit more respect than Utah, So if that's what he was doing, because that's exactly what he was doing in the Utah series, and a lot of it was getting called, but now it's not getting called. So what does that tell you? So these are some of the same officials now. What does that tell you? I'm gonna let you figure it out, but it has a lot to do with ratings and stuff like that. But here's the deal: James Harden went to the line. He shot 13 of 14 free throws. I don't think you really want to call out the referees about them missing 3 or 4 3-point fouls, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is either A, they're going to call more fouls the next game, or B, they're not going to call anything for you when you're grabbing people's arms or you're kicking your legs out. Clearly, the man's kicking his legs out, both of them. I guarantee, let's just say if the Warriors defenders could control and contort their body a certain way, that if they could contort their way where they would like move their legs to the side and still keep their contest high, James Harden would be landing on his ass every single time because he wouldn't get on contact with anybody. These guys are intentionally trying to get contact with the players. Intentionally, and it's like instead of just playing ball, they're trying to manipulate the game, which all teams manipulate the game. But at the end of the day, you're trying to say that people are trying to Zaza Pachulia you when you're really trying to Reggie Miller people. You're jumping 3-4 feet in front of people, which is not right. So I understand the fact that calls were missed and it's not fair. 100%. I'm 100% against that. But I'm also 100% of the same people that saying that calls were missed. Still got a lot of calls going their way. Went to the free throw line a bunch of times. And on top of that, they're kicking out their legs. So this is a slippery slope to me because at the end of the day, yeah, they missed the calls, whatever, but that didn't cost them the game. Just keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. Eric Gordon is going to the line. James Harden is going to the line. All these guys were going to the line. So it's not like they didn't get no calls or whatever. So at the end of it all, or whatever the case is, you have to call a spade and just be honest about the whole situation. The whole situation is the Houston Rockets offense is predicated on getting to the line. And if they're not going to get to the line, or they're not getting to the line as much as they want to, they're going to complain about it. But I don't understand. If you're getting 14 free throws for your star player in a game, I think that's sufficient. Maybe he shouldn't go 9 for 28 or 4 for 16 from 3. That's just the bottom line. I don't care what anybody says in terms of these referees, because referees aren't perfect. Nobody's going to try to defend the referees. The referees miss calls. But at the same time, if referees miss calls and you got 14 free throws, and what did you want? You wanted 23 free throws? That would have been like an NBA record. There's no way they're going to give up to you. Absolutely no way. Referees need to start calling offensive fouls or whatever the case is, because these guys are kicking their legs and kicking their hips into the defensive player. So I know this is going to be a point of emphasis, because let's just say they go down 0-2 and then the whole series ends, and then they're like, well, the only reason they lost the series because they weren't getting foul calls. And then next year, there better be an emphasis on where the landing spot is, and it can't be 3 feet in front of the player. Absolutely not. Because if you look at James Harden on a regular jump shot where he's not defended, he's not jumping 3 feet forward. He's jumping a couple inches forward. So what does that tell you? Tell you he's trying to manipulate the game, manipulate the refs. And just so happens that game was a perfect storm of not getting calls and then not working. It worked somewhat. It just didn't work in the first half. Guys wanted to shoot 24 to 30 free throws when the whole entire team shot 29 free throws. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not going to watch a game where we're watching basketball for 40 minutes, 7 hours, because guys want to go to the line. Definitely not.